Hi, thanks for joining me for the second episode of my podcast, Big Daddy Real Talk. I'm your host, Grace, as you know. Thanks for tuning in after watching or listening to my first episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun, so that's why I'm making a second one. So I have some updates from last week's episode. Literally the day after I recorded it, the guy came back to work, and now he's doing fine. I think he is not drinking anymore. So that means I can go to my friend's wedding. So yeah, that's a really good update. So, how is everyone doing? Yesterday was Halloween. I dressed up as a little sexy monster to match my dog. So that was real cute. I had these googly eyes glued to my face, and I thought that looked really cute. But by the end of the night, I was like, I'm so done with this. And so I was driving home from Georgia's apartment, picking them off. Boop, boop. But yeah. So, it's been a little less stressful. Just living. We were pretty slow this past weekend, which was nice. Got out kind of early, so I was able to go out with some friends on Saturday. Did not have a costume for that one. Ended up wearing my chef coat and my apron, and I looked like the show The Bear. Who knew working in fine dining would come in handy, because I would have a blue apron like the show. But I did see one other person dressed up as the bear, and I wanted to fight them. I know I shouldn't, because it's some random guy. But I was like, I'm ready to fight you. But I didn't, unfortunately. So yeah. So let's go into my first segment. It's talking about just dating apps and people I like, interesting profiles or bios or messages I get. So this one, this is not just this week. This has actually been going on for a couple, it's happened a couple months. I've had this one guy who has multiple accounts message me, this, multiple times in the last, couple months. So it's this older man who's, probably, in his 40s. And his message, which is, the message he sent me is also his bio. So it's can I be the man behind that smile? I am looking for a sweet and caring sugar baby that I can give weekly allowances for. I'm not looking for a relationship or anything physical, just someone to talk to. So hit me up, and then he puts his number. And I don't want to be a sugar baby. That seems too much work for me. I have a job already. Unless you can pay me enough so I can quit my job, I don't need to talk to you. That's another job. But one time I was the first time he messaged me that, I was why'd you message me your bio? What the fuck? And then another time, he messaged me twice from two different accounts the same day. I was do you have two accounts? And he was I do, actually. So that's really weird. His name is James, a J name. Red flag. But yeah. So this week, I want to talk about exes. Especially my ex, Nick. Yes, I'm going to name drop him. His name is Nicholas Duncan. Ugh. Lame-o. Yeah, so I don't suggest dating a Nick. I had a bad history with my ex Nick. My friend Shahani had a bad history with her ex named Nick. So do not suggest dating a Nick. Unless you are and you found a good one, then good for you. So yeah. I met Nick on a dating app literally the new year of 2022. He like lives right outside Richmond, and I just moved back from Maine at this point. I don't remember swiping on him, honestly, because I was like, I do this thing on dating apps, which is like not really good, is sometimes I just swipe on everyone just to see like what messages I get, who likes me, like just kind of see what happens. So straight up, do not remember messaging him. Like, not even like matching, like swiping on him and then matching with him. It was also like New Year's Eve, and I was hanging out with a couple friends, so I was like, at that point, I could have been drunk when I swiped. Who knows? Next day, New Year's, he messages me. I'm like sleeping because I just like literally partied with two people drunk. So I'm like, he messages me, I respond. I don't really remember what we talked about. But like I was like sleeping throughout the day, so like I barely responded. And then that night he was like, "Hey, do you want to talk on the phone like right now?" First off, I should have like looked at that as a red flag, because like what guy wants to like within the first day of texting you on a dating app was like, "Hey, can I have your number so I can call you on the phone at nighttime?" So I like made up this lie, because so I told him, I was like, actually my phone's about to die, so like I can't talk on the phone right now. That was like not the truth. I actually was about to go hang out with another guy, and I was like, I can't. I was like not really feeling like my ex at the time, because I was like, yo, you live like far away. We're never going to hang out. Like, this isn't going to happen. But I was like, so I told him, hey, my phone's like almost dead, so I'm going to charge it, so I can't really talk on the phone right now. Maybe we can talk on the phone tomorrow. He's like, yeah, sure, whatever. I hang out with this guy. Obviously, whatever happened to that guy did not turn out. I hung out with him once, never talked to him again. Don't even remember his name. But after doing that, I text my ex Nick on the dating app. I was like, hey, here's my number for when you want to like call tomorrow, blah blah blah. Mind you, this is like 2 or 3 in the morning. He goes, okay, thanks, and then calls me immediately. I don't like answer the phone the first time, because I was like, what the fuck? Calls again. So I answer. I'm like, hi. He goes, hey, blah blah blah. I was like, why are you calling me? He's like, why not? Blah blah blah. And then like we talk, and I like don't truly remember what we talked about, but I remember part of it was like, he's like, I'm not a serial killer. And I was like, that's good, but also like I'm low key not obsessed, but very interested in true crime. So like I was like, oh yeah, like, and we like I started naming all these serial killers. Honestly, that's a red flag against me. So we like talk, and then we only talk for like 20 minutes on the phone, and then we like text, and like our conversation's good. He's younger than me. He's a year younger than me. So I should have taken that as a red flag too. And he worked at Jimmy John's at the time, so I don't like Jimmy John's. I didn't have it before meeting him, and now like since then I've had it. I think Potbelly's like the superior sandwich shop, just in my opinion. Jersey Mike's is pretty up there. I think Jimmy John's is like one step above Subway, but that's my opinion. So we like text and all this, and like we're talking on the phone. We like FaceTimed, and so that's like, and then he's like, I've never been to DC. I should come up and visit you. And I was like, oh, okay. He's like, well, I like one time saw this really cool building in Alexandria, Virginia, when I was taking the train up to New York City, and I really want to visit it. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm like, I don't work right now. I'm like in between jobs, so like I can hang out whenever. He goes, how about Saturday? So that was like a week after we started talking. I was like, okay, cool. So you're gonna come up for one day. Cool. And then he's later on, like a couple days later, he goes, "Oh, I got a hotel room, so I will be there Saturday and Sunday. You should spend the night with me." And I said, "Fuck no," because A, I don't know you. B, that's weird. So I'm texting him the day that he's supposed to come up. That Saturday he comes up. I'm like, "What time will you be here?" He told me a time, and then he ended up not leaving. Literally, like 2 or 3 hours after he said he would, and it's like a 2-hour drive from where he lived to like Nova. So like I was like, at that point I was like, honestly, like, if you don't leave soon, don't come up, don't hang out with me, because I'm like so dramatic. And he finally comes up. I'm fucking late because I'm like, that's me. I'm like, I don't fucking care. I'm gonna be late. You postponed our date. So he's like, "Come to my hotel. I have to watch the Chiefs game." Biggest Chiefs fan. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So like I go up to his room to watch the Chiefs game with him. My mom does not know that I went up to his hotel room the first night we hung out. It's halftime of the Chiefs game. He's like, "You want to get dinner?" I'm like, "Yeah, for sure." And so we decide where to go, and we end up choosing Buffalo Wild Wings. Like, I love a good Buffalo Wild Wings moment, but for a first date, are you serious? Mind you, I'm wearing like this really cute outfit. I'm like wearing like these like cute mom jeans, like a little like white button up with a sweater. All like my sweater's like folded nicely into my shirt. Like I look very cute. This bitch is wearing all Chief stuff. Like, the fuck? Red flag. So we like go to dinner. Then he's like, "I want to see the Washington Monument." I'm like, "Okay, sure, let's go." We go. Cold. It's cold out. Oh, and then we end at night, and then the next morning, I like drive to his hotel because he's checking out. And then I thought he was like, he straight up thought I blocked him because the reception in the hotel was not good. I should have. Would have saved me a lot of heartbreak and hurt, but that's besides the point. But we hang out. We go to breakfast at Denny's. Denny's? He was like, "I haven't been to Denny's in a while." I was like, "I've only been to Denny's once. It was not good." So we go to Denny's. And then we just like go other places. We went to a bunch of places in DC. He wanted to go see the Constitution. The Constitution? Who wants to see the Constitution? I wanted to go to, we ended up going there, but I wanted to go more into the National History Museum. I love that museum. Big stan. No, this guy wants to see the Constitution. So we do that, and then we end up looking at like all the other like. We went to the Jefferson Memorial, the Lincoln Memorial. Cold. It's so cold. But we take this picture. I learned that what's my good side that day, because we took this ugly ass photo of me. Like, the only green flag I like looking back on is he's tall. I'm 5'5", 5'6" on a good day. This guy, 6'5". Great. So, we hang out like all day. I'm like, what the fuck? And then he leaves. I go see him in his hometown the next week. I get a hotel. He like spends the night in my hotel. He stays up till like 4 a.m. play video games. This is something I learned that is now a red flag in my mind. If a guy is obsessed with video games, especially the game Call of Duty. I hate the game Call of Duty now. My ex, Nick, loved Call of Duty. He rages so hard. I am not a fan. Also, golf. He plays a stupid golf game. Do not understand it. Do not care. Red flag. But we go see the Scream movie. Scream like 6 at this point. Have not seen another Scream movie. Gory. And then we like hang out. The next day we go mini golfing. Golf again. And then what else do we do? We go to this like mall, and he like asked me to be his girlfriend after like knowing each other for 2 weeks. And I say yes, being stupid. I should have said no and been like, let's date a little bit longer before we become official. But yeah, and then we just like hang out. I get a job, so like we can't hang out as much. But then my boss is like, oh, what days off do you want? Do you want the weekends off? I'm like, yeah, sure. So I could see my ex. Whatever. Dumb. But then, yeah. So we're dating. It goes well. Like, he meets my friends. Like, he has some red flags. Like, mostly the red flags I talked about video games. But, like, he also, like, I think his biggest, so what I learned later on is his 2 biggest flags that I should have noped out of this relationship sooner was he does not know how to do laundry. I don't know if he knows how to do laundry to this day. His parents did his laundry. 2, he ate out for every fucking meal, fast food or a restaurant. The only thing he knows how to make is sandwiches. Cannot. I taught him how to cook an egg. He wanted me to teach him how to cook a steak. So we go from egg to steak. What? So he like only can make a sandwich and make a bowl of cereal. And he loves soda. I get it. People love soda. But like, that's not me. I don't love soda. I like water. I'll drink soda every once in a while, but not the biggest fan. So we're like, he like gets fired from his Jimmy John's job for like lying, apparently. I don't know. And then, so he stays at my parents' house, because mind you, I'm still living with my parents at this time, for a week. I'm going to work every day. I'm like living my life, and he's in my parents' basement playing video games. Red flag. My other biggest like issue, I think, up until this point, because this is probably like this is definitely within our first like 6 months of dating. Yeah, is he has so many, like, he does streaks with female friends. He had so many, like, he followed so many females on Instagram. He had posts on his Instagram being, like, from the past being, like, I love this girl. Pretty girls deserve pretty flowers. This is my best friend. Just hyping up all these girls. Because he's an insecure guy. But, like, I brought it up. I was like, hey, this makes me uncomfortable. And I brought this up multiple times through our relationship. And then, honestly, like, I brought this up. So, by April of us dating, I brought this up multiple times. He still had dating apps on his phone. I literally deleted all my dating apps. Probably, like, as soon as we became boyfriend, girlfriend. That's such a weird thing to say. I feel like that's so middle school, high school, being like, oh yeah, when we became boyfriend, girlfriend. But that's just how I'm going to explain it. Yeah, he had dating apps. I legit cried. I was like, I asked you to delete them. Why did you delete them? Me being dramatic. But yeah. So, the big first time I should have broken up with him, like, the real time I should have broken up with him, we're in Delaware at my family's beach house celebrating our 6 months. We go for a week. So I had this gut feeling. So we're on the beach on our 6 month anniversary. He's like boogie boarding in the waves. I'm like on the sand, just chilling. And I'm like, I like had this gut feeling. I'm like, go through his text messages. Go through his text messages. So I do. Because I think I saw, earlier that week, I saw something about a verification code for a dating apps, I think. And I was like, I asked him about it. He goes, oh, I don't know. Like, I haven't had dating apps. That was a lie. Spoiler, that was a lie. So on our 6th month, which was a Friday, I like had this gut feeling to go through his phone, so I did. I went through his texts, and I saw he texted this girl, being like, hey, this is Nick from blah 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 dating app. How are you? Gorgeous. Blah blah blah. And she responds, and he's like, you want a FaceTime? So I'm like, fuck. I'm grumpy. He comes back from boogie boarding. He's like, what's up, babe? How are you? And I'm like, I'm mad at you. I straight up was like, I'm mad at you. He goes, why? I'm like, because you've been texting other girls behind my back. And he goes, oh, that was a mistake. I only did it because I was bored because you're at work. Because, like, I worked a lot. I worked in a kitchen. That's a lot of work. So I'm, like, mad. And he, like, begs and begs. I'm, like, finally, like, okay, as long as you promise not to do this again, we'll stay together. Like, if you do it again, we'll break up. Blah, blah, blah. So, like, my trust is, like, broken with him. But I'm like, whatever, I'll stay with him. But then, like, we just keep going. He's very, like, I would get mad at him because he's very childish and all this stuff. Also, like, this is such a dramatic thing for me to be, like, I would get mad at him. But I worked night times, and he worked, like, early mornings. And he would wake me up at, like, 8:30, 9 o'clock every day. Because he was like, I'm at work, and I'm, like, just getting ready to drive my FedEx route. Let's talk. And I'm like, you just woke me up. I went to bed at, like, 2 a.m., I usually sleep until, that time I was sleeping until, like, 11:30 every day if I could. So, he, like, I got very mad at him over time for doing that. And one time I was like, don't call me in the morning. That's my red flag, but I stand by it. But, so yeah, it gets, like, a little hectic, but we're, like, doing fine. No dating apps on his phone, but then, yeah, like, we go into the new year, he gets no, I forgot about this. Literally a week after our 6th month was my birthday. I, like, have a little shindig with a couple friends at my apartment. He's a lightweight. He didn't really drink before he met me. I'm not, like, a huge drinker, but I'm not, like, an experienced drinker. So he has, like, 4 beers, shit-faced. Shit-faced to the point where he's stumbling on the floor. He's like, I feel sick. Let me go lay in your bed. So he falls asleep in my bed, misses, like, my friend singing happy birthday to me, misses me opening presents, misses me, like, blowing out my candle on my birthday cake. And I begged him. I was like, Nick, please just come out. Watch them sing happy birthday to me and me blow out my candles. Watch me open my presents and you can go back to sleep. Bitch is like, no, I feel too sick. I need to sleep. Devastated. But okay, back to, like, later on to the new year. So a couple days after the new year, I, like, off and on for, like, the past couple weeks, there's, like, felt like I needed to check his phone while he was sleeping because I just felt like something was wrong. But he learned not to keep the messages undeleted. But I'm a smart bitch and I know you need to check recently deleted. I also, like, check his Instagram, all this, like, his messages. Because I, like, got mad at him. I'm like, why are you messaging famous girls? You're so hot, blah, blah, blah. I get it. They're never going to read your message. They're famous. But, like, You have a girlfriend. Don't do that. Um, so yeah, I like go check his recently deleted, and he's texting this girl being like, hey gorgeous, oh my god, you're so my type. And they talk about hanging out on New Year's Eve. They don't. Because he ended up driving up to my apartment, hanging out in my apartment, and then going to a bar, get shit-faced drunk. I have to pick him up after work. I'm exhausted at this point. It's like 1:30 in the morning. We come back to my apartment. I'm trying to give him water. He throws up on my bathroom floor. If you know me, I hate throw up. Like, smelling it, seeing it, it makes me want to throw up. So I start gagging. I'm like, Nick, I don't care how drunk you are. You need to clean this up because I'm going to throw up if I have to clean this. Which he does. So I like kept going, have you been texting a girl behind my back? Have you been texting a girl behind my back? He's like, you want to check my phone? And he somehow like deleted that. And so I like keep bringing it up. So one day, like, I finally, like, I brought it up on the phone when we were like FaceTiming. I said, have you been texting a girl behind my back? I think her name was like Nicole or something. He goes, yes. I said, who the fuck is she? And he tells me that they like went to high school together, but she's a couple grades older, and she has a kid, blah, blah, blah. He goes, it wasn't anything serious. I'm like, dude, you like already lost my trust from what happened 6 months ago. Now you're doing this. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And I like get super pissed off at him. I'm like, I don't like, you need to make it up this way and this way. And like, I'm just screaming him on the phone. I felt so bad for my friend Danella because like literally I told her about this happening like the day after or a couple days after. And we're like going to go paint pottery, and he calls me, and I'm screaming on the phone in her car, so mad at him. And mind you, he like this whole interaction with him happened like a couple days after we went to my parents' house to chill, and he like apparently like told my dad's like, I want to marry your daughter. I think she's the love of my life. Ew. So I'm like just pissed at him. Our compromise is he has to drive up every week until he makes it up to me. So he does. We celebrate our 1 year. I make him take me to a very nice restaurant. It's called Cranes in DC. It's a Japanese-Spanish fusion restaurant. I make him get the most expensive entree for us to split. Because he also is broke. This man does not know how to manage money. So, and then, Valentine's Day comes. I told him, I'm like, all I want for Valentine's Day is, because he got me this stupid, giant, oversized bear that says, I love you, Valentine's Day 2023. I was like, no, I don't want that. I just want flowers. Just get me flowers. And of course, we don't see each other on Valentine's Day because we both had to work. So I'm like, just send me flowers. He doesn't. He's like, I did it too late. I couldn't find a place to get you flowers on Valentine's Day. I'm like, ugh, whatever. And then something happens. And then we end up breaking up like end of February. I'm sad. I'm like, I like go to my parents' house. I take the next day off of work because like even though like this relationship was shitty, it was like obviously he was my first long-term relationship. I delete his number. I block him on all the social media. He calls me the next day. He goes, hey, I've been thinking about it and I really miss you. I was like, okay, like, I miss you too, but I don't think we should get back together. And then, like, I kept going back and forth, like, should I get back together with him? Should I not? And I think, honestly, like, when I was like, oh, I should get back together with him, it wasn't like, oh, I miss him. It was, I miss the idea of being in a relationship, like, having the person being there with you, agreeing with you, talking to you, just having someone in your corner. I miss that, I think. But then we end up blocking each other on all social media. But he, like, still follows some of my friends on Instagram. He follows my family on Instagram. He's, like, friends with a couple of my family members on Facebook. So, like, he still has, like, connections to me. And then, so he will message my mom. He, like, used to message my mom sometimes on Instagram. So, like, this happened. I forgot when this happened, but this, like, within a week, my mom got a message on Instagram saying, like, hey, how's Grace doing? Like, is she okay? My mom obviously doesn't respond because it's my ex. My mom's not going to respond. And then a week later, he sends a message being like, oh, is she good? My mom doesn't respond. So he doesn't message it again. And then he'll, like post from my sister-in-law of her kids. Because, like, her kids are so cute. I love my niece and nephew. Little cuties. And she, like, straight up was, like, told my mom, she was like, why does Nick follow me and like my post? Like, that's weird. They broke up. Mind you, he never met that sister-in-law. That was, like, the only family member of mine he never met. Weird. And then my friend Danella, he's followed her. He still follows her. He still follows her to this day on Instagram. But he'll, like, comment on her, stories sometimes. And she'll tell me, because she's a good friend. Shout out to Nella. I love you. But he'll message things like, looking good, or miss you, or something stupid. The funniest is when, mind you, I knew this, that her and her ex broke up. But he didn't know, obviously, because, like, why would he know? Like, why would Nick know that they broke up? He messages Danella going, hey, how are you? And insert ex-boyfriend's name. And she sent me that screenshot. I was like, boy's not even in the know. Like, doesn't know what's going on. And, like, I think he's trying to hold on to people in my life because I think, like, I'm not saying I have the best life ever, but I have a lot of, like, amazing friends. I have amazing parents and siblings. Like, and Nick didn't have that. Nick, he has no siblings. He has a dad and a stepmom who sometimes did not act like they didn't care about him. And then he did not have friends. Like, I had friends from, like, I have my friends from high school that I love. I have friends from college, especially, like, my best friend Elle. I have, like, friends from previous jobs. Like, I have friends that I can talk to at all times. He didn't, so I think he was, like, trying to grasp onto things that he was envious of me having. So, it's, like, July. I'm in my feels. And I, like, remembered, one time saw this TikTok about how you can share notes with people, and I forgot I had a shared note with him. Thinking because we blocked each other on each other's numbers, I was like, oh, I'm just going to write into this shared notes app all the things that I wish he would know about me since we broke up. And I wrote stupid things like, oh, I now work night times again at work, because there was a brief time I worked, like, mid-shift. Or, I got a new car. Or, like, I'm about to take a week off of work. Like, stupid shit. But things that, like, or my other sister-in-law's pregnant. Just stupid things that I'm, like, to show that I am still living my life. And I'm, like, yes. Part of it was to be like, oh, like, you missed off on, like, some cool stuff that happened. But also to be like, screw you. I'm living my life. I'm going on without you. So that happens mid-July. I completely forget about it. I'm driving to work. It's now end of August. I get a notification from the shared note. He's like, oh my god, I didn't see the snow when it happened. I was like, oh, I forgot about this. We briefly talk off and on that notes app. He's like, can I just call you? I was like, no. And then finally, I like unblocked his number. We talked on the phone. And it just turns out like I didn't miss him. I thought I was missing him, but in fact, I didn't. And that's when I realized I don't miss him. I miss the idea of him. And I just tell him all the things that bothered me throughout the relationship. And then finally, I just reblocked him because I couldn't do it. And I was like, I'm going to delete this notes app because it's just toxic. And I did. And now I have completely no contact with him. Now, for good. And I'm so much happier without him, I realized. It was definitely a learning relationship. I learned a lot about myself. I learned about what I look for in guys, and it's just great. Yeah, so that's my warning to not date guys named Nick. So don't. And actually just don't date straight white men. Honestly, that's what I took from this is they're so toxic. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. It's a little bit longer episode, but I just felt like I had so much drama with Nick that it felt so good to get it out. And yeah, so I will see you guys next week. I think I'll be interviewing someone. Fingers crossed, but yeah. Bye!